So here's a true story. So I'm taking my wife and the family out because it's Mother's Day. So we're going to a Mother's Day brunch. And what it is that they're going to drive around on a boat and drive out around the lake. And the problem is I can't really tell my kids what we're doing. I love all 5 of them, but they're snitches. And at this time, my twins were about 4 years old, maybe 5 years old. So I had to come up with a story or white lie. And I said that we were going over my sister's house and that she was doing something for Mother's Day for all the other mothers in the family. Well, instantly my boys thought, oh, when I get over there, we're going to play video games, because that's what they did. My sister's basement was loaded, video games and everything. Well, when they found out that they weren't going over there, well, my boys kind of had a fit. They had what we call, disappointment, which is natural. So as a parent, you have to let your kids go through those emotions. They have to have love. They have to be able to be angry. They have to be able to be sad. They have to have disappointment. And they have to be able to work through it and understand how to do it in a healthy way. The first twin, he was disappointed, but he got over it. The second twin, it took a little longer. Let him work through it. Then at a certain point, I told him, cut it out, stop it. It is what it is. This is what's happening. This story I'm sharing with you today reminds me of what's happening today. We just had an election. We have a president-elect, and we have a president in the White House who, for some reason, never learned how to handle disappointment. Get over it. It didn't happen. It's not going to happen. And that's just the way it is. And we as Americans have to sometimes give discipline to some of our leaders when they refuse to act the way they should. If we expect our children to behave, we damn well better expect those people that we elect to behave just as well. So welcome to a new episode of Ask a Black Dad. We kind of changed it up a little bit because the executive producer went on hiatus. We don't know where she's at. She's hiding. But filling in is our chief operating officer, one of our producers, and the woman of my life, who I call woman. My wife, she's at the wino table or the wino district. Dawn, say hi to the people.
Hello, people.
So she's going to be filling in. She's also being the engineer for the day.
I'm also the new EP.
Oh, she's the, I just said that, yes.
Yes.
Yes. So she's filling in. So what I want to talk about right now, just today is a Saturday, November 14th. The 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
The
14th. Right now in Washington, D.C., there is a group of MAGA supporters. But let's break that down a little bit. In that group of MAGA supporters are these neo-Nazis, these racists, these skinheads. I'm not saying all of them are, but these are the groups that are there. They said they're there. They represented themselves and they let people know they're there. And they're saying we want 4 more years of Donald Trump. Now, I noticed that when Black Lives Matter and people who were demonstrating for peace and equality, he hid in a bunker. When they were out there today, he made a circle so they can see him and he waved at them. So I guess when he was at Charlottesville and he said there's some good people out there, he stood his ground and he made sure that he stuck with them people. So I want that to be out there. There are racists protesting in Washington, D.C., not in the numbers that they hoped, but he made sure he was out there to be seen by them.
But when President-elect Biden and VP-elect Harris supporters were out there, he kind of snuck inside his SUV. How come we didn't get that motorcade?
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. That's what it is.
That's okay. We have 2021.
That's what it is. So today we're going to talk about something called forgiveness and forgetting. You must learn to forget and forgive. And the reason that comes up, woman, dog, lately I've noticed that certain supporters of 45, King Trump, Donald Trump, are now posting things such as, hey, we're all in this together. It don't make a difference who you voted for. Let's move on. Let's make America, better now. You know what I'm saying? We have a chance to get along and all these things. I like what Biden said. He said, I'm going to be a president to everybody. But at the same time, I noticed that for the last 4 years, maybe even 5, when he was running, for some reason, people had carte blanche to come out and just be racist sympathizers. They came out and they vilified black people, they vilified Hispanics, they vilified Muslims, and now these same people are coming out saying, hey, we're all Americans.
But you got to keep in mind, he's from the first time, actually even before he became president, he was their permission slip. He was a permission slip for those racist neo-Nazis and, his supporters to come out. And then when he became president, it became more prevalent. It's not that it wasn't there. He's granted them a permission slip. So this is what we're seeing.
I agree, but what astounded me, what shocked me was, and it goes twofold, I'll speak to the first one right now, is that the same people who ate lunch with you while you were at work, the same people who you would go to the bars with, and they talk about, and especially when I look at it, because we worked in the jail, and they were like, I got your back, you ain't got to worry about nothing, I'm there for you. And the next thing you knew, they were like, Black lives don't matter. Whether or not George Floyd is a good person, that had nothing to do with it. That's
right.
Like saying Emmett Till.
Right.
What kind of grades did Emmett Till get?
Right.
I don't care. What happened to him is the issue, not how what he got in his report card or if he got arrested for this. It's what happened to him. And they stood there and they started saying, well, we don't care about that because we want to know about this person. And they want to make every excuse under the sun for what happened. They wanted to run over Black Lives Matter protesters who were protesting in the street. I've had one person post, well, Black Obama didn't. I'm Black Obama. What the hell? Black Obama. And then they cleared it up by, well, I didn't write it. I just reposted it.
Okay.
So it wasn't me. I just reposted it.
Right, but it always goes back to what you've always taught the children. What's done in the dark always comes to light.
If it don't come out in the wash,
it comes out in the rinse.
So they were doing this, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to forget this.
Right.
We're supposed to just sit back and just for some reason, this doesn't happen. I had some. I knew some females that were friends of mine, or I thought they were.
Some women who are friends of yours?
Yeah, women. I'm sorry, I thought female women, sorry. But and not getting into their business so much but I want to say this. They were married, but they were at work dating black men, right? Now, I don't know if because the paint cracked or I don't know what happened.
Right.
But all of a sudden, Obama gets elected, things change, and all of a sudden now, we got Trump. And all of a sudden, they're against Black lives. They're talking about how black people need to get over slavery and all this, but yet and still they want to promote Confederate flag and all this. I'm like, wait, when did this happen? I mean, now that the black men that you were messing with aren't messing with you no more, now you're this super religious, super Christian, super Republican, anti-everything black or minority. You know, in these 4 years, I seen a reverend that I really liked. I really admired him. I thought he was upstanding, and he told lies. And I remember we were talking about the kids that were locked up in when Trump was locking them up at the border, and he said, "I don't have time for that." You know. And then what they would do is they would post things that were lies. George Soros. They said that George Soros was a Nazi officer during World War II.
Yeah.
When World War II came, he was like 11, 12 years old. So this Jewish kid was a SS officer while he was 12 years old. And when you call them out and say, how does that even possible? That doesn't even make sense.
Right, but keep in mind, if you tell a lie at least three times,
it's the truth.
It becomes true.
It's true.
Right?
It's the truth. And and now all of a sudden they're going on this campaign of how we're all together. We're in this together. And another person had posted, or another reverend had posted, we have to learn to forgive and go on. You know what I'm saying? And he said, he didn't say you had to forget, but he did say you had to forgive. But the problem I have is I ain't heard one person who backed MAGA, who backed Black Lives Don't Matter, Blue Lives Matter. When a cop killed black people, they were just like, well, that's that kid's fault. It was what's his name fault for having a toy gun in Cleveland?
Tamir Rice.
Tamir Rice. It was his fault for getting shot. It's George Floyd's fault. It's Sandra Bland's fault. It's Castile's fault in Philadelphia. It was always their fault. And I never heard one of them, one time, ask us to forgive them for not one damn thing they said.
Right.
Not one damn thing they posted did they say, forgive me.
Because they're not asking for your forgiveness. What they said is what they said.
So now all of a sudden they want you to put them back in your good graces. Give them some kind of pass. Give them a walk around, a walkabout, and say, hey, you know, we all on the same page. Until somebody else comes around and they can come back out the closet, dust off them hoods, put it back on their face, and promote that dumb stuff. And keep promoting it and putting it back out there. So what I'm stuck with is I'm thinking of something that you know, every time we end a quote of the day for Ask a Black Dad, we like to. And I was reading Malcolm X. And I want to get it right. So Malcolm X said, and so we call this the quote of the day. Malcolm X said, all of our experiences fuse into our personality. Everything that ever happens to us is an ingredient. Everything you do, we take in and we mix it up and it becomes part of us. And it's that ingredient that makes us. So when you sit down and you tell us, oh no, we're in this together. We all Americans. But you forgot, you told me that I wasn't loyal enough to the law enforcement department when I said, well, you can't go around killing my kids and my daughters and my sons and my wives and my brothers because they said, well, those weren't yours. I said, yes, they were. They're black. Even if they were white, they're mine. We don't do that. We're not supposed to do that. Well, you're disloyal to us. Or when someone sends me a message on Ask a Black Dad and tells me you don't know what it's like to be black, but they're white now, and you don't know what it's like to be black because you don't understand what it's like to really serve in the service. When I served in the Marine Corps.
But wait a minute, what do you mean that you don't know what it is?
Well, because
to be black?
I'm black and I served in the Marine Corps, and I don't agree with nothing they was talking about.
You were still black.
Well, to them, I wasn't being black enough as far as being a black person in the service.
Enough.
Not for them.
Okay.
They wanted me to be the Herman Cains and the Candace Owens and all them types. That's the blacks they like, even though they don't know them.
Right.
They only see them on that news network.
Wait, Fox?
No, Fox.
Oh, faux news.
Faux news. That's what they see him on.
Right.
And they went and jumped in on me. I wasn't patriotic enough. You know what I'm saying? Because I said, well, being a patriot doesn't mean you have to stand for the flag. You have to say the allegiance. Well, no, that's not, because their grandpappy taught them this. You know, I have a guy that I love very much. I'm gonna see if I can put his link on there. I'm just calling him Stack for now. But he has a website where he's trying to teach people to get independently wealth independence. And he made a comment during 9/11's memory of 9/11, my fault. And he put it out there, and all of a sudden, a couple of white people just attacked him online and said, I was following you until you said that. And all he said was, I've noticed that it's funny to me that some of you sit back and say never forget 9/11, but you tell black people get over slavery.
Right.
But you put the Confederate flag out and wave it. But you say the South will rise again, but get over slavery.
Right.
But the Confederate flag is wrapped in slavery. The South is wrapped in slavery. So the black people get over it. Because we need to get over that. We need to, at a certain point, when it's done with minorities, history has to stop. But 9/11 has to go on forever. We got to remember 9/11 and persecute Muslims who ain't had nothing to do with it, and all these kind of things. So I think that he saw some of the backlash came back, and I remember something that my father said, and I shared it with my kids, and they know this. If the truth hurts,
say ouch.
That's how we do it. If the truth hurts, say ouch. So right now, the jury's still out on as a black dad whether or not I'm gonna forgive. I know I won't forget. You can believe that. You can believe I won't forget none of the stuff you posted. But as far as me forgiving you and let's move on and sing Kumbaya, I got to say I don't understand. Because in 4 more years, if Joe Biden don't get the job done and we replace him, because I will do it. I will replace Joe Biden. I will replace Kamala. If I figure that they ain't doing what I want them to do or what I need them to do, I will put a vote out there and I will say get rid of them. But I don't think I'm going to ever vote. And I'm going to be associated with the same people that the Ku Klux Klan is voting for. I don't want to ever be associated with the same people the neo-Nazis are voting for. If somebody is sitting there and they saying, I'm voting for this man because I don't like Negroes, I don't like Jews, I don't like Hispanics, I don't like Chinese, I don't like gays, I don't like this, I don't think that me and them all should be in the same boat. Because I don't see how we can have enough things in common that we can sit in the same room or even be on the same street in Washington, D.C. right now. Mm-hmm. So as you turn on your TV right now today, and you voted for Donald Trump, and you see these hate groups marching for Donald Trump, and then you ask me to forgive you. Well, first of all, you didn't ask me to forgive you. You told me forget. You told me let's move on. But you stood there and they wanted to kill my son. They wanted to kill my daughter. They wanted to kill my wife. They wanted to kill me. They wanted to kill Jews, and you stood there and you said, well, I didn't vote for that. But they voted for that. There's a thing, what's that thing when you have the circles and they meet together?
I can't think of it right now, but it's like, Venn diagram.
Venn diagram. Mm-hmm. Your Venn diagram and their Venn diagram should not be coming together. If a Ku Klux Klan, neo-Nazi, racist, and all of them, they have a circle. And my circle for America, we can't meet nowhere in the middle. Because there's nothing in their circle that's going to help anybody that I know and love. So if you put that out there and you voted for it, you might have to miss me, at least for a while. I'm 55 years old. I have more downside coming than I got upside going.
But you are still young. So.
Well, I may be young, 55, but I know the Grim Reaper looking at me.
Right, but but with that, Ronald, what they have done is shown their hand, right? Once they've shown who they are, you better believe it, regardless of what happens afterwards. And that's how I feel about it. So what they've done is show their hand. You know who you work with. Maybe before you did not. Now you do. And what you do is you make that a necessary adjustment just to even exist within that space.
So we don't want to keep you guys longer than what we kept you so far. Do not forget that we have a giveaway, $100 Amazon gift card. Mm-hmm. It'll be right after Thanksgiving, right after Black Friday. We want you guys we want the winner, because we didn't give it to every guy, every guy and gal, but we're going to give it to the winner. So please subscribe, comment, share. Tell me what you think. Tell me, am I being wrong? Am I wrong? Or if I'm thinking wrong, or if a woman over here is thinking wrong. But she hasn't said anything. Dawn, can you gonna forgive, even though they ain't asked for forgiveness. Nobody's asked for forgiveness. I've yet to hear forgiveness.
So how can I forgive if I have not been asked for forgiveness? And just because someone asks of that of me doesn't mean I have to give it to you. Because you know what? It takes time. Wounds take time to heal. But like I said, when you show me your hand, I know who I'm dealing with, and I make the necessary adjustments in regards to that. You know, we are all in this together. I understand everybody has a right to feel and think and have their own opinion, and that's fine. But the gift that you've given me, that person, is I know who I'm dealing with, and I believe you, regardless of what comes out your mouth later.
Well, I'll say this. You know, a lot of people. It's a story. I'm gonna share this story. Then we're gonna go, and then I'm gonna call it a day. And I heard on NPR, so I cannot say who meant this story, who wrote the story, but it was a woman, Master Jones, in the slave times. He owned a farm, and he had slaves. And Master Jones went off to war to make sure he could keep his Negro slaves. Missy had a favorite slave, Mrs. Jones, and she loved that slave, supposedly. That slave had 5 children. Mrs. Jones sold 3 of her children when Master Jones died. She needed some money, so she sold 3 of her children. Now, all of a sudden, the Yankees were coming. She wound up selling the other 2 because she needed money. So as the Yankees got closer to the plantation, Mrs. Jones knew that they were going to take her gold. They were going to take her precious possessions. So what she did was she went to her favorite slave that she loved so much. She's telling her, "Oh, I love this girl." She loved her so much that she let her have a day off when her slave husband died. So when the slave's husband died, Mrs. Jones let her have a day off to bury him. But the next day she had to go to work in the house. Mrs. Jones went and hid some of her valuables, her family valuables, in the slaves' quarters. And she told the slave, "Do not let the Union soldiers know that this is here because they'll take it from me." She said, I trust you. So she hid them under the slave's bed, under the boards. When the Union soldiers came, the slave woman gave them Mrs. Jones jewelry and stuff. Mrs. Jones was like, "I don't understand. Why would you do that to me when I loved you?" That slave looked her in her face and said, "Did you really love me? Did you really love me?" And at that point, the slave walked on. She was free. Mrs. Jones, for years, couldn't understand how that slave had turned on her. But yet and still, she couldn't understand that she sold her kids. She wouldn't let her mourn her husband's death. Don't forget she was a slave, but for some reason, Mrs. Jones had, "I been good to you." So with that, I'm going to say this. You want my forgiveness? You didn't ask for it. You want me to move on, which you're saying? Ooh, I got a terabyte worth of memory. And I don't know if it's corrupted yet. So with that being said, don't forget the giveaway. And until I see you again to announce who won, remember,
I love you.
We love you.